Hello and welcome. Few days ago, wives of the governors of the South and Southeast states in Nigeria converged right here in the ultra-modern banquet hall of Government House Uyo for a very important summit. This time, it wasn't about 35% affirmative action, but rather to judge on ways and means to stop dehumanizing widows and the girl child in Nigeria. The summit was hosted by the very amiable wife of the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Her Excellency Ekaite Unoma Akpabio, with a theme, Louder Please, a call for an increased advocacy and the interventions of the rights of widows in Nigeria. The women told Nigerians the home truth about widowhood and the proffered solutions. It just wasn't about holding talks, as the ladies found time to relax and enjoy the hospitality of the government and good people of Akwa Ibom State. In this package, we bring you highlights of these very engaging events. I am Leke Kanavura. Happy viewing.
The quest for the rights of widows and the girl child in contemporary Nigeria and Africa came to the front burner just days after the world celebrated the International Widows' Day on 23rd June 2013, as declared by the United Nations UN. Wives of governors in South and Southeast Nigeria gathered in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, to find lasting solutions to the age-long practice of dehumanizing widows. It is not by accident that the agitators chose Uyo for this noble venture, the first National Widowhood Summit to give vent to the plight of widows in the regions. Akwa Ibom is the bastion of uncommon transformation, a reference point of development, and a destination of choice in Nigeria. The alluring ambience of the state provided a very attractive environment and safe haven for the first ladies, invited guests, and other paper presenters to x-ray the issues of widow maltreatment and brainstorm to find lasting solutions to the menace, as well as develop a roadmap to improve widows' well-being. The program was hosted by Her Excellency Unoma Ekaite Akpabio, wife of Governor Akwa Ibom State, and facilitated by Her Excellency Obioma Lielimoke, wife of Governor Cross River State, with the theme, Louder Please, a call for increased advocacy and interventions on widows' rights in Nigeria. The other First Ladies in attendance were Her Excellency Mrs. Mercy Orji, wife of Governor Abia State, Margaret Obi, wife of Governor Anambra State. Others were Rolly Oduaga, wife of Governor Delta State, Josephine Elechi, wife of Governor Ebonyi State. One of the significance of this summit was that the First Ladies did not come alone, but stormed the summit with hundreds of widows from the South and Southeast regions of Nigeria. Eminent women and other personalities, led by the Honorable Minister for Women Affairs, Hajia Zainab Maina, condemned in strong terms the unwholesome practices against widows. She commended Governor Akpabio for his approach to governance, describing him as a prophet of uncommon transformation. Mrs. Unoma Ekaite Akpabio, wife of Akwa Ibom State Governor, in her opening address to the summiteers, noted that if Mary Slazer could come all the way from Scotland to fight for the rights of women in Nigeria, it was time Nigerian women fought for themselves.
And the key issue here, for me, is legislation. I want to encourage all the other states that have not passed the bill and signed it into law to do so for the benefit of our women.
The governor's wife wasn't done yet. He said that she was sick of the discriminatory attitude against women at the loss of their husbands and asked, if men do not lose their rights when their wives die, why should women lose theirs at the death of their husbands?
After passing the bill and signing it into law, then we go over to the next stage, which is strategy. And what are the strategies? For me, one of the strategies that I normally use in Akwa Ibom is to sensitize the communities. When we go for commissioning of these widows' houses, we use that opportunity to sensitize the community. Sometimes we visit the paramount rulers before we even comment, so that they will know why we are in their domain. That alone will make the paramount ruler, if he's not interested in widows' rights, he will now say, oh, they are here to build a house for a widow. He will think twice about the treatment the widows have been getting in his community. From sensitizing the community and the families, because we've had cases where after commissioning, they will tell the woman to pack and go. We've had cases like that, and luckily, I normally use the commissioner of police to settle the matter.
At a personal level, Mrs. Akpabio, through her NGO, Family Life Enhancement Initiative, has intervened by the psychological uplift and economic empowerment of widows, as well as providing home through her Shelter for Widows program. She has built over 70 houses and still counting. On her part, the facilitator of the program and wife of Governor Christopher State, Obioma Liel Imoke, in her paper titled Louder Please, he said that the United Nations, UN, has drawn the world's attention to the plight of widows. This is in realization of the grim fact that widows, by circumstances of the loss of their husbands, are more than not victims of all manner of injustices and indignities.
To say that my heart bleeds for widows in Nigeria, especially the young ones, is an understatement. First, there has not been any systematic way of addressing issues threatening the very existence of widows. Widows suffer a lot of indignity, leading to most of them getting to their own graves earlier than they ordinarily should. The stories of their neglect, brutality, and indignity are better imagined than real. Yet, no one is speaking up because of the culture of silence embedded in our tradition.
Mrs. Liel Imoke frowned at the absence of any meaningful database, which has further compounded the problem of getting help to widows.
There is a broad dearth of information and data on widows in our country. In the course of packaging this event, we sought to have secondary data on status of widows in Nigeria.
Chairman, Senate Committee on Women Affairs and Youth Development, Helen Iswene, blamed the woes of widows on marriages contracted under native law and customs, which encouraged the brother of the deceased to administer the estate of the deceased.
Cultural and traditional practices constitute more than 70% of the problems of widows. Accusing the woman of being responsible for the death of her husband, demanding that she swears to an oath to exonerate herself, depriving her of routine daily necessities of bathing and eating, shaving her head clean to the skull, demanding that she does not leave the house for a period of time, demanding that she marries one of her husband's relations, forceful eviction of widows and her children from the matrimonial home.
Who says that widows do not have equal rights to life, to inheritance, and the pursuit of happiness in a legitimate way, just like their male counterparts? Widowhood is not a curse. Unfortunately, Evil people in our society have conspired via the instrumentality of harmful traditional practices and beliefs to deny and dehumanize widows their legitimate happiness at the death of their husbands. But thank God, succor has come in the way of widows. As the first ladies in the South and the Southeast have come together determined to confront this hydra-headed monster and rid our society of this evil through advocacy, love, persuasion, and legislation.
Speaker after speaker condemned inhuman treatment meted out to widows. The Minister of Women Affairs, Hajia Zainab Maina, was not left out. She commended the Akwa Ibom State government for enacting the Widows and Girls' Rights Protection Law, encouraging other states to toe the same line.
I wish to acknowledge the legislature in the several states of the Federation for enacting the legislation that address harmful widowhood practices. At the federal level, the Violence Against Persons Bill has been passed in the House of Representatives and is presently in the Senate. I paid an advocacy visit to the Senate President, who promised to pass the bill at the Senate very, very soon.
Governor Akpabio, who spoke through his wife, Unoma Ekaita Akpabio, also lamented the absence of a data on widows, but nevertheless see the defense of widows as a fulfillment of their oath of office to do good to all manner of people, men and women in our society. It was this that led to the bill on the rights of widows. Deputy Governor Akwa Ibom State, Her Honor Valerie Ebe, also lent a voice to the debate.
The pains of our widows are our pains. Their tears are our tears. And their anguish is our anguish.
Speaker, Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, Sam Ikon, who spoke in line with his governor, outlined the role of the legislature in the protection of widows' rights.
Subsection 7 of Section 4 states that the House of Assembly of the state shall have the power to make laws for the peace, order, and good government of the state or any part thereof. As important as the above-quoted section is to the existence of the House of Assembly, I make bold to say that the greatest authority which a legislature wields in a democratic society is not its legal powers as contained in the Constitution, but its moral authority as the conscience of the nation, the defender of the weak and protector of the sovereignty of the people. The State House of Assembly cannot pretend to be unaware of the fact that many widows are denied their rights, subjected to abuse, and evicted from their homes because they cannot inherit property or land, that widows are forced into exploitative work to support themselves and their families, that millions of widows currently live in poverty and have suffered physical abuse, some from members of their own family, that young widows who were child brides face great risk with little protection.
Archaic customs and traditional institutions have also been fingered as some of the reasons for the ill treatment of widows. Fortunately, this sector of the society was represented at the summit, and they promised to do all within their power to end the practice that was putting them in bad light.
I have listened to all the presenters, and the whole weight is on traditional institution has come of age. Old things are past. We have stopped those things that are repugnant to natural justice. We are saying stop it.
Some of the widows who have held the short end of the stick in this matter recount their experiences.
It has been a tradition. We were born to see it. Our great grandfather said it. When my husband died, then I wanted, I lived in England, Then I said, no, you can't. He said, then the women came together. He said, no, in our own community, we don't do it like that. You have to sit on the floor. You have to cry by 8 o'clock. You have to cry by 9 o'clock. I said, okay, when I cry by 10 o'clock, will he come up? He said, have you heard how she's talking? She's not even feeling it. It's the tradition. It's the custom. And mostly lack of fear of God. Because you see that most of this tradition that dehumanize the widow has no love base. Do you realize that? There's no love base. Already I've lost a very dear one. And you are here asking me to cry for you to hear. I'm an actor. And you are here asking me to sit on the floor. And you are here taking the little that is left for me. It means you have no love. You do not know God. It's lack of godliness. It's lack of love. And these are the basis of traditional issues. These are the basis of custom.
In 2006, advocating for the rights of widows, it seems as it's a reproach. But today, God has answered the prayers and make the wife of governors and also the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Chief Godswill Ogorokpabi, so know the plight of the widows and put to a stop by signing into law the Widows' Rights Act bill.
From now on, we are going to include widowhood in our own advocacies, wherever we go out to. Like, we go to churches, we go to marketplaces, we go to schools, we visit traditional rulers, we visit, we are to visit all the nooks and crannies of this state to spread the gospel of ACOM. So today we've added another assignment to ACOM, and that is to also spread the gospel of widowhood, to ensure that we tell people that widowhood malpractices should be a stop. There should be a stop to it, not only here in Akwa Ibom State, but nationally.
Some other women participants at the summit praised the First Ladies for taking up this fight and also bared their minds.
God, the legal backing.
If you stand up and say,
now, any woman who knows, I want to add that advocacy and sensitization must follow the signing into law. Now, as any woman who now wants to enforce her rights, she now has a legal backing to eat, and there is also FIDA or other NGOs that are ready to help her. But it was a lot difficult in the past when there was no legal backing, and there was really not much that anyone could do. There's a limit to which the NGOs, there's a limit to which FIDA can go. Now that there's a legal backing, one can enforce. Follow it.
No, these traditional people, they are our problem, because in our place, the widows, they suffer a lot. They suffer a lot. You see, like my own as an example, the very day it happened, they scraped my head twice, and I stayed inside the room for 1 month without going out. So we are praying seriously so that this program will touch these local people and they will stop all these things that happen to the widows.
We'll be going to the House of Assemblies for the passage of these bills. We never knew governors' wives will come up to help us, and today it is abolished. I believe so. The root cause is nothing but the tradition, culture, and hatred among the women in the family. Because at times, when you are married to a family, they will tell you that you are responsible for the brother or the whatever that is in the family, not to see after them. But they are not sure, because you are fighting for their rights. Most of the time, they will thinking you are not fighting for their rights. So they will hate you, waiting on the death of your husband to maltreat you. The own mother. The culture in the place and the tradition, which is not good.
The wear and tear of the summit would have taken its toll on the women. Therefore, it was time to unwind. A gala was organized for this purpose. Setting the tone for the evening, chief hostess Her Excellency Unoma Ekaita Akpabio paid glowing tribute to Obioma Liel Imoke for initiating the program for widows and described Akwa Ibom as a land of warmth and hospitality.
I want to welcome you to Akwa Ibom State, the land of promise, the land of love, the land of warmth, the land of hospitality, the land of uncommon transformation. This summit is the first of its kind. It has never happened in our country, Nigeria. Individually, we have our different programs for our widows. But this is the first time all of us are coming together as one, the states in South-South and Southeast, to talk about the widows. And I will say, the person that started this program, that initiated it, and all of us keyed into it, is Mrs. Obioma here.
A collage of performances were put on display to relax the women. A popular artist in the state, Mish, did a song eulogizing women. A member of the National Assembly in Koyo Toyo and the Commissioner for Women Affairs, Akwa Ibom State, Glory Edet, also threw in a word on the issue on the burner of discourse.
By stating the boldness of women, the wives of our dear governors, to raise their voice and make something that looks like a very ordinary statement to become one of very great importance. It's not only the way we have tried to manage this through legislation, and I can tell you that at the National Assembly, we ourselves too are raising our voice through legislation. And not enough. It is the day-to-day existence of these women that the First Ladies are talking about. Touching the lives of these women, transforming their lives. It is a great responsibility you've taken upon yourself. I salute you, great women. I do salute you.
The efforts of the present administration in ensuring the total eradication of harmful social practices against widows in the state is worth mentioning and commendable. Permit me to especially thank His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Chief Dr. Gospel Akpabio, CON, the chief host of this event, for the law prohibiting unwholesome practices against widows in the state.
The governor's wives, not minding the exhaustive deliberations, could not resist a final word on this widow matter.
We as the wives of the governors of the South and Southeast states of Nigeria have come to a conclusion that we need to put our voices together and speak out for the widows in Nigeria and also in our different states, in our communities. As you can see, the theme of our summit is Louder, Please.
To come together, see where we can learn from each other, like knowing what some of us have been doing in our states. Like in my state, in Ebonyi State, some of the indigent widows that have no houses, we have been building houses for them. Those whose land were taken, we restore the land back to them. In Ebonyi State, we have a family law
which was established by my predecessor. And that family law has gone a long way in restoring the rights of widows.
If we're going to meet the MDGs by 2015, the sooner we start looking at the rights of widows, the better for us all, because widows are actually a sect of society that have really not been addressed. Their issues have not, their rights have not been addressed.
I know it's not easy for something like this, especially for the people in the localities. They will look at it as if we are trying to impose things on them. It's going to be a gradual process. We're going to let them know the effects of all these practices on our women, and we hope to achieve great results. It won't come easy. It won't come like, it won't be a magic. It's going to be a gradual process, but we know that with time we are going to win the war, because it's almost like a war.
While the First Ladies vigorously pursue legislation to put a stop to the persecution and dehumanization of widows, among other interventions, empowerment through skills acquisition, setting up of small and medium-scale enterprises, SMEs, self-worth and belief have also been identified as key to providing better lives for them. They hope this mustard seed effort they have initiated will grow and spread nationwide, affording Nigerian widows a better deal and a respect they deserve.